What is going on, everyone? I hope you're doing well. Today we're going to be talking about how you can actually figure out what home price you can afford. And if you haven't been here before, this channel is about personal finance. Financial freedom is easy with the right knowledge. Schools don't teach it, so I will. So we're picking up from where we left off last video, talking about how to buy a home and invest in real estate. If you have any specific videos you want to see, let me know down in the comments. Otherwise, we'll do our best to try and fill in between the lines on how to actually buy a house. So in order to find how much you can afford for a house, you'll need to know your income, how much you are willing to put for a down payment, and stick around to the end. We'll show you how to calculate it and walk through an example. So why might you actually want to know how much you can afford? Well, obviously you want to be sure and aware of your entire financial situation and like where you can actually buy a home, but you also want to know, how much time you need to save up and what type of condition. Maybe you need to do a fixer upper, or maybe you even need to look in a completely new area. And all of this information is going to help you qualify for a loan. So if you're going to be paying in full, then you don't really need to figure this out because you're just going to buy the whole thing in cash. But between you and me, that's not really a great idea. We can talk about that in a different episode, but essentially the time value of money and leverage give you a financial advantage to actually take out a loan for a home. As I mentioned in the last video, lenders are most likely just going to look at your main income. So that's most likely going to be a job or your own business or some sort of self-employment income. You're going to need your tax returns. And so if you're working a job, most likely it's just going to be 1 year, but definitely if you are self-employed, you're going to need 2 years tax returns, and you're going to need to take the income and essentially average it out over 2 years. So you're going to take your gross income for 1 year if you work a W-2 job, or you're going to take your net income from your self-employment income, whether that be a business or a 1099 type of work or something like that. Once you have your total income, you're going to divide that by 12 to get your monthly income. Once you have your monthly income, you can multiply that by 0.4 or take 40% of it. The reason we do that is because lenders are most likely going to look for a debt to income ratio no greater than 40%. So in this case, that would mean we're calculating the top end of what we can afford per month. And then the final step to get your maximum monthly payment amount is going to be subtracting monthly debts. So whether you have auto loans or student loans or credit card payments that you're making, whatever you may have, you're just going to subtract that. So again, it's total income, divide by 12 to get the monthly income, multiply by 0.4 or take 40% and subtract any debt payments. With this number, essentially the principal interest of the loan, as well as property taxes and property insurance, potentially homeowners association fees and mortgage insurance, all need to combine to be this number or lower when qualifying for a home. And when it comes to the down payment side of things, obviously, if you have a higher down payment, you don't need as much of a loan. Most people can do a 5% down payment. First-time home buyers often can get 3.5%. There's other types of loans out there. If you're going to only do an investment property, so meaning you're not going to live in the property, then you need to do at least 20%. Sometimes they'll have you do 25%. The final thing we'll talk about before getting into our example is the interest rate. And a lot of people make a big deal out of the interest rate because it can save you money over the long run. But we're going to try to make conservative estimates rather than underestimate our numbers. It's basically like you aim past the goal a little bit so that if you fall short, you could still make it because it's most likely not going to be that high, if that makes any sense. And so let's get into it. So you can literally look up any mortgage calculator. I'm just going to use bank rate right here. And so let's just take a random example. Let's say our income is $36,000 a year. Let's divide that by 12 to get our monthly income. That's going to be $3,000 a month. Then we take 40% of that or multiply it by 0.4 and that's going to be $1,200, and subtract any debt payments. For this example, say that we have $200 in monthly debt payments. That leaves our total at $1,000. Now let's go to the calculator and check out what we can actually afford with $1,000. So the first step I'm going to do to the calculator is essentially get rid of the homeowner's insurance for a second, get rid of the property tax for a second. We're going to put down 5%. This right here, this is going to be 30 years for length of loan. We could talk about that in another video if you'd like, but essentially that's the most common and that's most likely going to be your best bet. And the interest rate, it has it at 3.21%. Let's just round up to 3.5%. Boom, right here we have 5% down, 3.5% interest rate, and the home price was set to $330,000. You can see that our estimated monthly payment is $1,407, which is this number up here, top middle. That's obviously too high. Keep going down a little bit until we find our number, $200,000. Okay, so we're still a little high. Let's try $180,000. Okay, so now we're in range at this point. It does have property tax on here. It autofilled 119. I'm not sure what that is based on exactly, but let's go to homeowners insurance. Let's say it's going to be $150. Right here, that's over our range. In a real scenario, if you know the area you're going to be living in, you can check the homeowners insurance rates. Just to get an estimate, you can just do the average. Same for property tax. Some calculators actually let you put in the percentage property tax, so you can check maybe it's different in by state, by county, by city specifically. If these were your numbers, your goal is $1,000 and you want to get that down from $1,036, that's pretty close. So what you would need to do is essentially, I mean, you can always do a higher down payment. Let's say you specifically had $12,000 to put down. So we can type in $12,000. This is very close. Obviously, the more of a down payment you can put down in this situation, at least having those funds available if you need them is going to help you. Everything is actually going to be sorted out once you're in contact with your lender. They'll tell you what you can afford for a pre-approval. Then once you're actually in escrow, they will crunch the numbers even more. They make sure they actually want to loan to you. Let's take a look at an example here on realtor.com for, let's say you were looking in Detroit. We're going to go to the monthly payment and you can edit these numbers. So in this case, the price is $115,000, property tax at $140. I think this is a number you can use. I don't know if it's exactly right, but at least it does change based on location from what I found on realtor.com. Home insurance, it's definitely not going to be $38. It's probably closer to $200 in Detroit. It has a down payment of 20%, and you can change that number here. You could change the loan term if you'd like, the interest rate. Play around with some of these calculators. Go for the one you like and just give yourself an idea what you can afford and maybe what goal you want to attain. So if you already know the area you're going to be looking in and houses are a bit more expensive than what you can afford on paper, then you're probably going to need to figure out like how much you can save every month. How can you get to that goal faster? And it really is an advantage to you to actually know your financial situation, which if you want to learn more about that, I think you should hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, because the next video should really be able to help you with that. And if you did enjoy this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up, share the video with a friend, and comment below what you would like to see next. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope I'll see you next time. Peace!